Title suggestion: the dangerous truth about success that the I Ching figured out 3,000 years ago. In the year 1050 BC, a man named King Wen sat in a damp, pitch-black dungeon in the city of Yoli. He was not a criminal. He was a threat to a dying dynasty, imprisoned by a tyrant who feared the very stars. Most men in that darkness would have prayed for mercy or plotted a bloody revenge. But King Wen did something that changed the course of human history. He didn't look for a way out of the cell. He looked for the underlying code of the universe itself. While the guards slept, he took 64 ancient symbols and arranged them into a system so powerful that it has predicted the rise and fall of every empire, every corporation, and every individual leader for the last 3 millennia. You are currently making a decision that your competitors, your enemies, or perhaps even your own ego hope you make. You are looking at the world as a series of straight lines: growth, decline, win, loss. But King Wen saw what you were missing. He saw that the moment of your greatest victory is actually the exact moment your downfall begins. He saw that winning is often the most dangerous thing you can do. Today, we step into the cell with the sage. We peel back the layers of the I Ching, the book of changes, to reveal the strategic binary code that governs your life, whether you believe in it or not. To understand the I Ching is to stop being a victim of circumstance and start being a master of cycles. The world of the Zhou dynasty was a world of absolute stakes. There was no pivoting in a business sense. If a leader misread the signs of the times, his entire lineage was put to the sword. The I Ching was not written as a book of fortune-telling for the curious. It was a manual of survival for the sovereign. Imagine a landscape of jagged yellow mountains and silt-heavy rivers, where the mandate of heaven was the only currency that mattered. If the emperor lost his way, the rivers flooded, the crops failed, and the people rose. We live in that same world today, though we've traded bronze swords for digital algorithms. The stakes haven't changed. When we look at a company like Nokia in 2007 or Kodak in the 90s, or even the geopolitical shifts of this very morning, we are seeing the I Ching in motion. These entities didn't fail because they lacked resources. They failed because they reached the top of the mountain and forgot that the only way forward from a peak is down. They ignored the oracle's wisdom, that change is not an event, it is the only constant. The weight of this text is heavy. It influenced Confucius, who famously said that if he had 50 years to spare, he would give 48 of them to the study of the I Ching. It influenced Carl Jung, who used it to unlock the secrets of the human subconscious. It even influenced Gottfried Wilhelm Leibniz, the co-inventor of calculus, who realized that the I Ching's hexagrams were the world's first binary system, the very ones and zeros that allow you to watch this video right now. We are not talking about mysticism. We are talking about the mathematics of change. We are talking about the strategic recognition of the moment. Does a hunter shoot where the deer is, or where the deer is going to be? Most of you are shooting at where the world was yesterday. The sage monk knows that to lead is to inhabit the future before it arrives. Our first teaching takes us to the very beginning. Hexagram 1. Chen. The creative. This is the energy of the dragon, the pure force of the sun. But listen to the warning King Wen wrote from his prison cell. The source text says, "Hidden dragon. Do not act." Read that again. Hidden dragon. Do not act. In our modern world, we are told that the moment we have a spark of an idea, we must shout it from the rooftops. We are told to hustle, to launch fast and break things, to show the world our fire before it has even become a coal. But the sage knows that the most powerful energy is that which is still gathering itself in the dark. Think of Steve Jobs after he was ousted from Apple in 1985. For over a decade, he was the hidden dragon. To the public, he was a washed-up visionary. But in the silence of those years, he was building Next and Pixar. He was not acting on the global stage. He was refining the dragon's scales. If he had tried to win in 1988, he would have been crushed by the momentum of Microsoft. Instead, he waited. He understood the actionable principle. True power requires a period of invisibility to become invincible. If you are in a season of obscurity right now, do not fight it. Use it. The dragon that reveals itself too early is the one the village gathers to kill. What happens when the dragon emerges? What happens when the path ahead is not a clear sky, but a terrifying drop into the unknown? This brings us to the second teaching. Hexagram 29. Can. The abysmal. Water. The text says, water flows on uninterrupted and reaches its goal. It flows through the mountains and stays true to its nature. If you are sincere, you have in your heart success. The abysmal represents the moments in your life when you are surrounded by danger. Your business is failing, your reputation is under fire, or the market has shifted so violently that your old maps are useless. Most people react to danger with fire. They panic, they burn bridges, they fight the current. But water does something different. Water doesn't fight the rock, it flows around it. Water doesn't stop because the terrain is difficult. It fills every hole until it can overflow and move forward. Look at Netflix in 2011. They were a DVD by mail company. The abyss was the transition to streaming, a move that threatened to kill their entire existing revenue stream. Their stock plummeted. Their customers were angry. They were in the abysmal. But Reed Hastings stayed true to his nature as a technologist. He didn't try to save the DVD. He flowed into the gap of streaming with everything he had. The actionable principle is this. In times of crisis, do not seek a new nature. Seek the path of least resistance that leads to your ultimate goal. Become the water. Now, we must speak of the most difficult lesson for the ambitious heart. The lesson of the cycle. In the I Ching, there is a pair of hexagrams that are inseparable. Hexagram 11, peace, and hexagram 12, standstill. The source text for hexagram 11 warns us. No plane not followed by a slope. No going not followed by a return. He who remains persevering in danger is without blame. Think about that phrase. No plane not followed by a slope. It is a mathematical certainty. In the 1990s, the world felt like a flat, endless plain of prosperity. The end of history had been declared. Then came the slope of 2000. Then the plain of the mid-2000s, followed by the jagged cliff of 2008. We are currently in a period where many believe the plain of their current success will last forever. But the sage monk knows that standstill is the inevitable shadow of peace. Take the case of Nokia. At their peak, they had 40% of the global market. They were the peace hexagram personified. But because they did not remain persevering in danger during their time of success, because they didn't anticipate the slope, they were paralyzed when the iPhone arrived. They reached standstill and couldn't find their way back. The actionable principle is, prepare for the valley while you are on the peak, and you will never be destroyed by the descent. Strategy is not about the present. It is about the return. We come to the fourth teaching. One of the most profound and overlooked symbols in the entire book of changes. Hexagram 48. Ts Jinji. The well. The text says, the town may be changed, but the well cannot be changed. It neither decreases nor increases. They come and go and draw from the well. In your life and your work, there are things that change, your job title, your office, your technology, your physical appearance. These are the town. Towns are built and towns are burned. But the well is your core. It is the deep, immutable wisdom and character that you draw from. If you abandon your well to chase the trends of the town, you will eventually find yourself thirsty in a desert of your own making. Think of Howard Schultz and Starbucks. In the early 2000s, Starbucks changed the town too much. They added automated machines. They focused on rapid expansion. They lost the coffee smell in their stores. They abandoned the well. In 2008, Schultz had to return as CEO to close 7,000 stores for a single afternoon to retrain everyone on how to make a perfect espresso. He had to return to the well. He realized that while the business model must evolve, the soul of the work must remain unchanged. The actionable principle. Identify the one thing in your life that must never change and protect it with your life while everything else evolves. Finally, we look at Hexagram 63. After completion, this is the state of having arrived. You've hit your target. You've closed the deal. You've married the person you love. The text says, in the beginning good fortune, at the end disorder. This is the most oracle-like warning in the book. It tells us that the moment a task is finished, the seeds of chaos are planted. Why? Because when we finish, we relax. We stop paying attention. We stop being the hidden dragon and start being the lazy dragon. Modern parallels are everywhere. Think of the mission accomplished moment in various military conflicts, or a software company that launches a perfect app and then stops updating it, only to be hacked or rendered obsolete in months. The disorder doesn't come from the outside. It comes from the internal loss of vigilance that follows success. The actionable principle. The moment you succeed is the moment you must double your attention to detail. Finish each task as if you were just beginning the next. We have traveled from the dungeon of Yoli to the boardrooms of the 21st century. But the I Ching is not a book to be read. It is a book to be lived. Wisdom without application is just noise. If you want to master the cycles of your own life, I am giving you 3 concrete things to do this week. Not next month. This week. First, perform a hexagram audit on your current major project. Ask yourself, am I the hidden dragon, or am I the dragon at the peak? If you are in a period of obscurity, stop complaining and start deepening your skills. If you are at the peak of success, identify one area where you have become lazy or disordered and fix it immediately. Name the situation. Is it your health? Is it a key relationship? Is it a technical skill you've let slide? Find the disorder and bring it back to the well. Second, practice non-action for 1 hour this week. I don't mean meditation in a vague sense. I mean identifying a situation where you feel a desperate urge to do something, to send an angry email, to make a frantic trade, to force a decision that isn't ready. And then, do nothing. Watch the situation like a sage monk on a mountain. See if, like water, the path reveals itself without you having to bash your head against the rock. Write down what happens when you let the abysmal flow around you instead of fighting it. Third, create a shadow plan. Look at your biggest success from the last year, the thing you are most proud of. Now, assume that this success is the plane and the slope is coming. Spend 30 minutes this Friday morning writing down exactly what you would do if that success disappeared tomorrow. If your main client left, if your industry was disrupted by AI, if your physical strength failed. By creating the shadow plan, you are persevering in danger while everything is still peace. You are building the bridge before the river floods. These 3 actions are the bridge between ancient philosophy and modern dominance. They are the difference between being a leaf blown by the wind of change and being the wind itself. You must realize that most people are terrified of change because they see it as a threat to their stability. But for the strategist, change is the stability. The only thing that never changes is the fact that everything changes. Once you accept that, you can never truly be defeated. Remember the man in the dungeon. King Wen didn't survive because he was the strongest or the loudest. He survived because he understood that the dungeon was just one part of the cycle. He knew that the tyrant who put him there was already on his way down, even at the height of his power. And Wen was right. The Zhou dynasty he founded lasted longer than any other in Chinese history. 800 years of mandate from heaven. The world is not a series of problems to be solved. It is a series of waves to be surfed. If you feel like you are drowning, remember the water. If you feel like you are hiding, remember the dragon. If you feel like you have arrived, remember the disorder. Success is not a destination. It is a temporary alignment with the patterns of the universe. If you wish to stay aligned, you must keep moving. You must keep studying the oracle's wisdom. In our next episode, we will go even deeper into the art of strategic waiting, the lost secrets of Sun Tzu's predecessors. If you found value in this transmission, the link to the full translation of the I Ching is below. Do not merely read it. Map your life onto its lines. If you don't, you will remain a town that is easily changed by the whims of others. Become the well. The cycle continues. Will you be ready for the turn? No plane not followed by a slope. See you on the descent.